Hi there to my water dominant people. So the way this works is you can go to astro.com and see what the balance of elements in your chart are, or if you just know that you have a lot of water, you might just have a sun sign in water and think, and really resonate with that, and that's why you're here. That's fine too. So let's see if this resonates. If it doesn't, check out the elements in your chart and see how they fall. We're looking at water dominant people right now. See what's coming up. I have a lot of oracle cards here, different Doreen Virtue decks. Okay. So the first card that's coming up is "It is safe for you to love." So we might be doing another love reading here. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And then school is coming up. The answer that you're seeking involves going to school. Study. Study, reading, research, and education help you gain confidence and clarity about your career, and everything's okay. Everything's okay. Don't worry. It's all working out in a beautiful way. So things in life right now, might be triggering fears and past traumas, right? So the school might be the school of life, like the lessons you've learned in life about love, the hurt you've experienced, the pain, the betrayal. That might be challenging you right now to open and be willing to share love with another or receive love. And maybe that's compelled you to sort of research what people value in love, the love languages, how to build trust with people, maybe even sort of darker ideas like game playing and like how players trick women into, giving them validation and affection and all kinds of stuff, right? How they get women to emotionally invest. So maybe you're seeking this information to inform yourself so that you're better equipped to navigate. And you're being encouraged to do so. That information is out there for you to empower yourself and to understand. Sometimes in love, when a relationship is new and we're feeling each other out, people who have been very hurt or used or betrayed in the past learn these tactics to temper their interest, right? And to learn to keep the power in the dynamic. And then you start to question your value and if you're attractive, and a lot of times it's with somebody you probably wouldn't even consider a potential partner, and there's part of them that knows that, so they use a lot of different tactics to make themselves interesting. Oftentimes that's because they aren't equipped to give you what they believe that you're seeking. But as you can see, a lot of this is just smoke and mirrors and never getting to honest communication. So, and sometimes we can be sensitive to that and fall into that, right? And start playing too and being like, what's happening here? So your best bet is really to ask questions and not get too emotionally invested in situations like that. It's hard to reverse that if it's already happening. Let's get another card because I want to make sure I'm on target here. with the school and the study, because I really believe that that's what's coming in, is sort of learning what is value, what is equity in relationship, right? How do you create goodwill in relationship? Is it okay to ask questions? Or does that make it seem like you have too much interest too early, too soon? I dropped cards, hold on. And I feel like there's a lot of confusion around that, particularly in the modern dating scene. Okay, let's see. Where we're kind of feeling out our roles, right? So one archetype to see what part of us is showing up to either take the spotlight or that's activated currently. That'll give us a little more information. Okay, so engineer. Engineer. The light attributes of the engineer: ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. And the shadow attribute is reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Okay, so this can be what I was saying about studying relationships, studying how to reverse engineer attraction, because it doesn't hurt to understand what motivates people, right? It doesn't hurt to reverse engineer attraction if you know you're attracted to somebody and you're seeking a relationship with that person, right? And that you aren't doing it to abuse that person or to just take their validation and run, right? But it's generally the people that have good intentions that don't want to look into this stuff. They don't think they need it, right? But it can be very beneficial for you to understand why relationships only get to a certain point, and usually they don't turn into relationships. It's like situationships, entanglements, right? It's these people that don't really have anything to bring to the table. They aren't seeking relationship, and they know maybe you probably are, so they have to keep moving and doing some tactics to make themselves interesting. If you know that's what they're doing, it kind of loses its power. So it might still have an effect, but you can call it out and say, I don't really like that. I'm not attracted to that, right? And then the power can stay in your hands. And you cannot fall for these people, right? Because they can create a lot of harm in your life. And, you know, maybe you've dealt with it in the past, and that's what the school thing is about. Like, you were schooled, right? And you ended up feeling like you played yourself, like all the signs were there, the red flags, but it really affected you emotionally, because that's what these people do. They reverse engineer attraction, and they do these tactics to keep you interested. And with a water dominant person, that can be hard for how do they say it? Reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Emotional consequences are one of the biggest motivating factors for everything you do as a water dominant. You tend to get attached in a relationship, right? And want to merge with another person and just to have a romantic outlook about love. And so it's proved unsafe. And so maybe you're afraid. And maybe what you're doing is putting up defenses for everybody, and so no one can get in, right? And so you're also ruling out the people with good intent. Let's go to The Alchemical Tarot Renewed by Robert M. Place and see if there's any more information that wants to come in regarding this situation. It couldn't hurt to educate yourself on that, right? Because chances are, if you've experienced trauma, rejection, betrayal, hurt, abandonment in the past, you didn't understand what actually happened and made it mean something about you. And you've learned to overcompensate now, right? Maybe you invested appropriately emotionally in the past and you didn't need a lot, you weren't very needy, but then someone came in and destroyed your trust. And so now there's this charged energy around it, right? An intensity or a needy feeling, like I need to close the gap here and just know if you have the same feelings or not, because I can't go through this again, right? And it comes off as needy or desperate. And that's not maybe where you're at all, but you're just guarding against hurt. So it's creating these compulsions. Right? You don't want to go down that road too long and too far and then get abandoned again. So, or whatever the story is, right? Get betrayed again. So you're just trying to close the gap. That's understandable. Remember that the guidance is everything's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's okay with this situation. Right? You're okay. You were okay before you met this person, right? You'll be okay after. It's just knowing to trust yourself, and to know that this person isn't the source of those feelings, isn't the source of the loving feelings. You are. You're the one that's feeling them. They're really playing up the mystery so that your curiosity keeps you engaged and intrigued and creates emotional investment. But that's not love, right? That's not what love is. So it might get you chasing to figure out the answer, but know that that's not love. Okay, let's pull some tarot cards and see what's coming up. There is a little bit of nudity in these cards. Just so you know, nothing too significant. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So bottom of the deck, we have the obelisk, which can be indicative of online connection. So it can be you met this person through the internet, or there's spying happening on the internet, or there's connection still happening via the internet, right? Or maybe you're online dating currently, would make sense because of the social distancing. There's a past experience here showing up, Seven of Swords, of someone who came in and stole the validation you were giving, right? They wanted your attention. They took your attention and they ran with it. They ran away with it, right? So you were left feeling used, maybe, empty, targeted, right? Victimized in some way, like feeling kind of used and discarded. And maybe this person's high on the narcissistic scale, right? Maybe they're high in narcissism. Would make sense if you feel like you identify as empath. That tends to happen. Those two tend to pair up, right? There's this chemistry and magnetism that can happen there, and then maybe you had to go and start working on putting your attention elsewhere, repairing what was damaged for you or taken from you, right? Focused on your work, And maybe that was tricky because this person was painting a picture of the ideal for you. Maybe this person presented as the ideal for you. The key word is presented, right? They got a feel for what you were seeking, what you were looking for, what you validated for them, and kept giving you that. And it wasn't really them, so it wasn't sustainable from the start. It was just an illusion. It was an illusion. It was an image. And maybe they said all the right things, right? I believe that's Mercury. I think that's the glyph for Mercury under his hand. So maybe he said all the right things. Was able to create this illusion temporarily to gain your interest and intrigue. And then there was a breakthrough, right? Something happened and the illusion, the glossy cover kind of cracked open and some reality seeped out, right? There was a breakthrough of some kind, right? The other shoe dropped. And they showed some of their darker side, maybe, that they were hiding. Or they gave you a sob story, right? That can also be a tactic where they say, I'm broken. I don't know if I can give you what you want, right? Knowing that you're emotional sensitive, knowing that you're a nurturer, that you're loving, right? And you know, your love is probably very healing for people. So maybe they gave you that story and it pulled you in even deeper, right? Made you care for them even more. Sometimes that can trigger the feelings of the feminine, right? When the masculine talks about something that hurts him or makes him vulnerable. It opens our heart to that person. We can feel like we're starting to fall for that person, right? And then here we come, we step in and we're like, I'll heal it. I'll repair the vase, right? I'll repair the broken vase. I'll heal you. I'm a healer. I can heal you. I can help you. That can be the story of the empath, right? We do this constantly. Instead of finding partner, we find project. We think, I can help you, I can heal you, I'll be there for you. This is what I'm good at, and I care about you, so it's good for me. Like, it works for me too. And this has created so much pain that it's time to have a phoenix rising moment, right? Maybe you've hit bottom here and it's like, I got to reinvent myself. I have to have a new story here. I can't go through this again. Never again, in fact. And that's probably why it's coming in. It is safe for you to love. That, you know, you had put up this wall because this keeps happening. And the seven of, I think he calls them vessels. The seven of vessels is coming up because it wasn't you that was the problem. It was the options you were investing in, right? See, there's one really clear, this is about choice. This is about choices, options. There's one clear best choice and option there, right? So maybe instead of saying no to these options that clearly aren't the right match and holding out for someone better, by allowing these things to be revealed, by being able to spot these tactics and know that, okay, I'm being played. This is just someone playing. They're not real. Like, they're painting a picture. That you allowed these people. It was the people and their harmful energy that did this. It wasn't you. It wasn't, this is all you're worth, right? This isn't what you deserve, right? Everything's okay with you. It's just you were choosing the wrong people to deal with and to let in. And, you know, sometimes we just have to go through that to build discernment. I've had some really hard lessons in this way too. So knowing when to walk away and having the courage to do so. And maybe just really informing yourself here about what's going on, and maybe you already have. So that's a good thing. So holding out for people that are seeking what you're seeking, and just asking up front, having the courage to do so, to make sure that it's safe. Like, are we on the same path here, right? What are you looking for, right? I mean, it sounds simple, but how often do you do that? You know, it feels like it'll just kind of ruin the fun. But if you're thinking long term, and you know that you tend to get emotionally connected and involved with people, take care of yourself, right? Take care of yourself. Ask the questions. If that hurts the connection, was it really that strong of a connection to begin with? I mean, people should expect that, to answer those questions, right? If they're building intimacy. So let's go to the Life Loves You deck and see. There's one last card that wants to kind of wrap up this reading. I nourish myself. I nourish myself. Decide that today you will eat only food that loves you. You know better than anyone what is best for you. So not only with food, but with who you surround yourself with, right? Like the blueberries here have a lot of antioxidants, right? And they're great to maintain a youthful glow and to look youthful. Getting involved with someone who has bad intentions, who's just using you, right? Who's manipulating you to steal your validation. Maybe they are high on the narcissist scale. That's going to age you, and it's going to waste your time. And time is a valuable, limited resource that we have, particularly as women, right? So if you resonate as the feminine and a woman in this situation, and time is an issue, it's of the essence for you, then this can be another indication that take care of yourself by asking the questions up front, you know, knowing what your goals are, what you're seeking, what path you want to take, just knowing yourself, and then you know, making sure it's safe to love, right? Is this person trustworthy? If you are love and there's nothing to lose by loving, then everything's okay. So maybe, you know, maybe you have been beaten down by the school of life in this way, right? You've been betrayed. This is just, I'm done with this story. It's happened so many times. Maybe look into, you know, look up some of these player tactics and see what they're up to. And you can completely disempower this and see how they're really intriguing you and building interest and manipulating you, basically. You know, emotionally sensitives are have the most at stake and can be the most susceptible to this. So take stellar care of yourself. You deserve it. You have this healing, beautiful, loving energy, nurturing vibe. And that is worth someone reverse engineering attraction to get a taste of it. So why not take stellar care of yourself to protect it? Make sure you're safe, right? Let me know if this resonates. Sending you so much love. You deserve it, right? Nourish yourself. Take stellar care of yourself. Again, if you have other dominant elements in your chart, look up those readings and see if that resonates as well. Have a beautiful week. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye, water dominant.